We spend most of our waking lives caught in a trap. We chase wealth, hunt for status, and exhaust ourselves trying to win the approval of people we barely know. But if you follow that path far enough, you hit a wall. You get the promotion, buy the house, and immediately feel a hollow ache inside. That emptiness forces the hardest questions a human being can ask. Who am I? And what is the actual point of all this? The paradox is brutal. The harder we question into the outside world to find meaning, the further we drift from understanding ourselves. To survive this cycle without burning out, we have to stop looking outward and turn the spotlight inward. That inward turn defined the life of Sri Bhagavat. Long before he was a spiritual guide, he was a young boy in rural India. Surrounded by the warmth of his family and a quiet village life, his mind was restless, constantly looking up at the sky and asking questions no one could quite answer. His parents and neighbors expected him to follow the standard script. You go to school, you get an education, you secure a job, and you provide. The pressure to conform to these rigid, institutional markers of success was immense. A single encounter redirected his entire focus. Visiting a local temple, Bhagavat met an older guru who offered a totally different perspective. The guru told him, simply, that the truth he was looking for didn't exist out in the world. It was already sitting quietly in his own heart. This changes the very nature of a spiritual search. Enlightenment looks less like a hike up a distant mountain and more like a careful excavation of what's already there. To actually perform this excavation, Bhagavat isolated himself. He spent hours beneath the massive canopy of a banyan tree, slipping into deep meditation. He was looking for what the guru called light. Finding this light means the ego finally gives way. As the static of external nodes collapses, it reveals a stable, concentrated core of inner peace. Of course, the real world doesn't applaud this kind of quiet reflection. His village mocked him. To them, sitting under a tree was entirely useless in a society demanding constant, visible productivity. But that friction is the point. True internal peace doesn't exist in a vacuum. It proves its worth only when it collides with the skepticism, doubt, and harshness of everyday life, and survives intact. The ultimate test of Bhagavat's philosophy came with agonizing grief. His beloved guru passed away. Instead of letting that loss break him, Bhagavat realized something critical. The guru hadn't actually disappeared. His teachings, his voice, and essence had become a permanent fixture embedded inside Bhagavat's own consciousness. This profound internal stability demanded outward expression. If you have peace, you can't just hoard it. Bhagavat began taking immediate, practical action in his community, feeding the hungry, caring for the sick, and solving real problems. This led to his core thesis: love is the highest meditation. A spiritual path that isolates you from the suffering of others is empty. Finding your inner light is useless unless you use it to warm the people around you. By this point, Bhagavat had spent years stripping away his personal desires and absorbing the suffering of his community. Deep in the forest, the last remaining walls of his identity simply dissolved. He realized that the same life force driving his own breath was the same one driving every other creature on Earth. This visualizes radical empathy in action. Viewing yourself as entirely connected to your neighbors dissolves the boundary between your well-being and their suffering. This unified state is contagious. Bhagavat's deeply skeptical disciple, Sundar, watched his teacher live this way day after day. Eventually, the skepticism broke, and Sundar realized that the exact same light had been dormant inside himself the entire time. You can't teach this level of clarity with a lecture. It can only be transmitted when a skeptic watches someone else live a life completely stripped of ego. You might expect a realized master to float away into mysticism or sit on a golden throne. Bhagavat didn't do either. He spent his days doing simple manual labor, planting trees and laughing with the local children. He left us with a highly practical lesson. Ordinary life is the highest form of spirituality. Life isn't a frantic race to reach some final, perfect destination. It is an ongoing, daily journey of expressing the peace you cultivate inside. The insight you spend your entire life searching for is already seated inside you. It's a quiet presence, simply waiting to be expressed through the ordinary act of loving the people right in front of you.